Welcome to our first episode of the Apple Mouth podcast. My name is Blake.
And my name is Belle.
We're going to be your hosts for the evening. And just to let you know, the show is just trying to send out some good vibes in a world full of hurt, you know? So,
right. And some positive energy that the universe needs to circulate more.
Exactly. So, kick back and relax. Hopefully this show will make you happy.
Right.
Because that'll be our first question. What makes you happy, Maribel?
Definitely lying on the grass and putting on some like fuzzy socks and just like putting my feet in front of like the fan.
The fuzzy socks?
Yeah, like those warm fuzzy socks that you get for Christmas.
I feel like that's that's like a luxury that I've never had.
It's a luxury I will get you for Christmas.
Oh, there we go. That's what makes me happy. Getting gifts from friends for sure.
Oh yeah, nice.
That's a good
What else
one.
makes you happy, Blake?
Like that nail cutter you gave me is perfect.
Oh,
Just
nice.
Small things like that, you know. It's like,
Yeah, a lot of people tend to forget that like it's the small gestures that make a big impact.
Mm-hmm.
Also, going outside really makes me happy.
For sure, yeah.
A lot of people don't really go outside, and I feel like that's why people are depressed.
I remember always pointing out, like, before when phones started getting more and more prevalent, like,
Right.
everyone's always on their phone, and then and then you always see like YouTube videos of like these hipster dudes or like wannabe like philosophers just like put down your phone, and you know they always have that message.
I love that sensual voice. Thank you for listening to us this fine evening.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like everyone listening to us is probably on their phone too.
I know.
No hating, but
Yeah, no judgment.
yeah, that's going outside definitely is like a good remedy of that because
Right.
it helps you like reconnect and like
Yeah.
remember that there is an outside.
Yeah, I feel like people forget how powerful sunlight could be.
Yeah.
Like, it genuinely puts happiness back in your smile.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Like, whenever people tell me that they're sad, my immediate instinct is to tell them to go for a walk.
Ah. Or
Yeah.
like, yeah, you could ask them too, like, when's the last time you went outside? Or like,
Yeah. Yeah, like, I don't even ask, like, why you're sad. It's like, yeah, you're sad. Okay, that feeling is very valid, but you don't have to stay sad, you know? Like, there's ways you can go about it.
Do you remember like when it was that the whole like people started noticing that there's more anxiety and more depressed people? Like, I mean, because growing up though, people never talked about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like it must have been like early 2010s or something where people started talking about
Yeah.
depression and anxiety more.
Yeah, I think they just started becoming more self-aware. I actually don't know.
Mm.
But, like, I remember, like, in middle school, that was when, like, it was still kind of a touchy subject. I don't know if you were in middle school at the time, though. You were probably in high school. I
didn't hear about depression and anxiety until, like, later in my high school years.
Really?
Yeah, and even then it was only, like, from the stateside stuff, because
Right.
for those who don't know, I went to high school in the Philippines.
Right, yeah.
And they didn't talk about it there at all.
Yeah, but do you think that has anything to do with the culture, though? Like, the Filipino culture? Because that's not very
Definitely.
talked about.
Definitely. Because I know for sure, like, I knew in my senior year, I wanted to major in psychology, and I knew that there were
Right.
some alumni that I talked to who were in psychology,
Right.
and they always told me, like, people would make light of their choice in career or in majoring.
In psychology?
Exactly.
In the Philippines.
Because, like, it's not a well-respected trade there yet.
Right,
I don't
you're right.
think. Like, the main role to do as a psychologist would be counseling, like a school counselor or something.
Right,
And
yeah.
that wasn't really seen as a super well-respected career compared to, like, nursing or even, like, tourism stuff. Like,
Right.
being a, what do you call this? A stewardess.
Right.
Like, that had, like, more social prestige than psychologists.
Why do you think that is, though? Like, why do you think in Filipino culture we don't talk about that stuff very often?
My instinct is to say that it's a culture that's still very steeped in, like, traditional ways that kind of
Right,
shunned.
Catholicism
Yeah,
and
exactly.
God is the only answer to why you should be happy.
That's actually what it is, probably, is the whole God thing. Like, oh, maybe you don't go to church enough, or
Yeah, you don't pray hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
I don't know. It's definitely more acceptable to speak about mental issues in the States,
Right.
and that's good and all. But I feel like we're in this stage now where we've plateaued, and like we just talk about mental illness, but no one actually lives their life in a way to prevent any kind of
Right.
anxiety or depression.
Right.
I mean, there's the whole meditation movement, which is picking up now.
Yeah.
Or,
I've actually been hopping on that train. Like ever since the gyms have been closing, I've been finding other alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, meditation doesn't even have to be like sitting still with your legs crossed
Sure.
and like your, like shoulders back
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, shoulders back, chin up, and just close your eyes.
Ayurveda, like posture
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. Kind of like, yeah. But like, honestly, my form of meditation has just been just lying on the grass, like after a run, like
That's nice, huh?
it's the best feeling. Like after like a 1.5, maybe 2. Sometimes honestly, I'll push myself, and then like
What do you mean?
like. Normally, like, I've been only running, like, 1.5 miles, 2 miles.
Oh, in the running.
Yeah, in running.
Yeah.
But I recently started upping it to, like, 2.5, 3, and I'm starting to get closer to 4 now.
For sure.
And, dude, thank you.
That's good, dude.
Thank you. But, like, after a run, like, since my house is only, like, 3 blocks away from the park,
Mm-hmm.
like, I will purposely plot my run or, like, plot my running course to that park. And then after that, I'll just chill. Like, I'll take off my shoes and I'll take off my socks and I'll do yoga for like 15-20 minutes. And then I'll meditate afterwards.
Nice.
And then I kind of just, like, look back on my week and I reflect. And then I just walk the rest of the way home. And, like, it's the most relaxing thing. And people, like, I mean, yeah, I get that running's not for everybody because
Right.
it's an acquired taste.
Well, do you play music when you run?
No, I don't.
I think that's a big part of it. Because I know that when I used to drive long distances for work every day,
Right.
and
yeah.
I would have like either music or podcasts on all
yeah.
the time, and sometimes, especially if we like had done some psychedelics at some point, like I felt like all these podcasts and music, like constantly having something playing off my phone or something is like it's detrimental at a certain level.
What makes you say detrimental?
Because that time that I could be spending like silently reflecting on my drive, even when like I'm on auto mode,
Right.
like, or autopilot, it's like
Yeah.
that's a good time to kind of decompress and and reflect like what you're saying after your runs.
Yeah.
But after just constantly listening to podcasts and music, it's like you don't have that same freedom to just like not think.
Does listening to podcasts make you feel like does it make you feel like your brain is less cluttered? Do you feel less alone? Do you feel like there's someone else in the car with you that's like keeping up conversation?
A little bit more of that. Like there's definitely more of, if I have a podcast on of people that I find interesting, it's like I have someone in the car that I find interesting that I could just listen to.
Right.
And like it feels like they're just right there, and
I'll
catch myself just like laughing out loud to some of the stuff that they say, and it feels like it definitely feels like that. But
doesn't it just feel like you're kind of just a fly on the wall with their conversation? That you can't exactly contribute to it. You're just listening to these guys?
I don't have the urge to contribute to the talk.
Oh, okay.
It's more like an audiobook type of thing where I'm trying to listen about what they're... Because typically the shows I'll listen to will have a specific topic.
Right.
And then that topic will have something that I'm curious about. So it's almost like I'm getting a lecture.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Whereas like I don't typically listen to the ones where they just shoot the breeze all the time.
What does that mean?
Shoot the breeze, like they just talk small talk or talk about interpersonal stuff.
Oh, okay.
Because that's usually the ones where I think it would be more tempting to want to join a conversation if they are talking about that kind of stuff.
Oh, so the podcast you listen to, there's always something to learn from.
Yeah, it's kind of informative.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So like TED Talks?
Like TED Talks, yes.
Okay.
Like, we can get into why I don't like TED Talks later, but
okay.
but for now, yeah, they're basically just good hour and a half sessions of something that I find interesting, and then there's two people that I find interesting talking about, or one person talking about it.
Just one person talking for an hour and a half? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
It's usually two or three people.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Has there ever been just one person?
I've tried them a couple times, but I'm also not a fan of the one-person podcasts because I feel like they're just... Now it's just someone talking at me.
Oh, okay.
Where I'll listen to a one person talking if it is an actual lecture. Like for example, Jordan Peterson is a well-known psychologist who makes a lot of lectures. And
I've listened to some of his lectures on YouTube. They're great,
right? And he's very well spoken.
Yes,
he's very deep. He's a very deep thinker, and
he's very self-aware too. Mm-hmm. That's I respect that guy a lot.
Dude has some demons too, which is kind of interesting to like see all the drama about people like obsessing over him,
right?
Myself included. But I mean, the issue with listening to podcasts I've found is that it becomes a habit, and then since my day-to-day, like the time I spend day-to-day is spent listening to podcasts, there isn't that time to decompress, like I said before. So
what do you do to decompress?
Well, it's it's almost like I don't even notice it, because when I'm listening to podcasts,
right,
it doesn't feel like I'm losing anything, or like I don't immediately feel like I should be having meditation time. It's not until like it's just been weeks and weeks of constant non-stop sound waves coming out of my phone.
It's just habitual.
Yeah, it's habitual. So like over time, I feel like it just adds up, and then if I do end up like tripping or even just like being overwhelmed with some kind of stress, that's when I'm like, I keep listening to podcasts, but now it's like half of my brain is saying just turn it off, just relax, and the other half is like, but this is my habit though. This is like how I spend my time.
Right.
I could be spending that time learning about stuff that I want to learn about. So it's like there's like two parts of me that's arguing or like auditioning for my time.
Right. But when you're listening to podcasts though, you just said that it's kind of like you're learning something from it. Mm-hmm. But your brain doesn't feel like it's benefiting from that learning that you're getting from a podcast.
It recognizes that there is a benefit.
Right.
But I think that part of me that's saying just turn it off is like, now it'd be more beneficial for both of us if...
your left and right brain, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's left and right, but something like that.
Yeah, like...
It feels like that.
Yeah. Your left and right shoulders.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like the demon and the angel.
Yeah.
But, that part of me that's saying turn it off.
Right.
It's like, I feel like that part knows that in the long run, that's a better way to spend your time is to decompress and to relax. So to answer your question about how do I decompress?
Oh, I forgot about that
question. When I was living alone, maybe it would be just doing dishes.
Right.
Or
just decluttering your space.
Or honestly, just taking like a really long bowel movement.
Oh, dude, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
People make fun of me for
spending a long time.
Yeah, spending a long time in the loo. Mm-hmm. But it's like, dude,
that's
I'm
your
there.
Time.
That's me time. Like, it's probably gross and probably TMI, but it's like, I don't spend that whole time pooping.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it's like the first 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, and like the next like 20, possibly like 25, 30 minutes, you know how long I take in there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like, yeah, man, it's just another form of meditation for me.
Yeah, you can like squeeze in like a mini kind of decompressing time.
Yeah, exactly.
See, but then like I get in that habit of I'll even have a podcast playing while I'm in there.
Oh, really?
And in like, I know in the long run it's probably not good, but I mean,
you got a lot of demons up there, Blake. You want to talk about them?
Well, yes, but actually no. Maybe another time, but I don't know. playing music is a good thing, as in like
Yeah.
actually like not as in playing music from my phone, but playing my guitar, playing even just like doing karaoke stuff.
Right.
Like it sounds hella corny, but now I think about it, doing karaoke is probably the best way to de-stress, because it's like
Right.
you have all this energy and you're using your diaphragm to sing, and you're using that. It's like there's a wind coming out of you. And
right.
It's like helping to relieve that. I find my shoulders get lighter after.
Nice. Yeah.
I'm just like by myself singing some stupid Panic at the Disco song.
Yeah. Or some Blink-182 and Green Day.
You know me too well.
Yeah. Yeah. When was the last time you went outside?
Honestly, when we went for that hike.
Really?
Which was about what, a week and a half ago?
Yeah. Really?
Because I don't make a time. Well, first of all, I don't feel the need to make time because I feel like I'm not super stressed. Thankfully, like I don't have anxiety or depression problems. Right. So, I don't feel like I have to make time. I know that it would be beneficial in the long run.
Right.
But that's actually why we hang out so much. I feel like, because I end up doing like going for walks and going on hikes more often than like I would definitely not want to do a hike by myself.
Really?
Yeah.
That's my favorite pastime. Sorry.
No, you're actually probably in the right, because that is the time to decompress naturally. That is how our ancestors probably, decompressed after a long day of hunting and gathering or whatever.
Yeah. You know? I don't know. Like, I feel like people don't value their alone time as much as they should.
I'm definitely up in there.
That, like, not wanting to call you out or anything, or, like, fine. Anyone out, but, like, I don't know what happened, but something inside me just clicked, and I just started doing a lot of things for myself.
Do you feel it's easier for you to do that kind of stuff because you're more of an introvert type?
Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, granted, I have some, like, extrovert qualities, like...
Sure.
But I think, ultimately, the way I recharge...
Like, at the core?
Yeah, at my core.
Yeah.
That I'm very much an introvert. And... I know some extroverts too that like going on hikes and stuff like that.
On their own?
No, not on their own.
Okay, yeah, see, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'd be like hitting up old friends or something.
Right.
Because I'm going to spend this time out as an I'm spending time during an activity. It's like I want to. Well, let's see. Can I also fit in like some reconnect time with an old friend or something in there?
And honestly though, it's a great way to rekindle relationships and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Especially when going on hikes, when it's just the two of you, less distractions.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, to me, that's just sometimes having a person there is more of a distraction.
Ah, okay.
'Cause the way I see it, well, the way I've always hiked is that, like, I feel like if there's another person there, I start getting competitive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That, like, let's do as much incline as I can. Or, like, let's go on as, like, the longest hike possible. Just so I can tire you out.
Yeah, okay.
But, obviously, that's toxic.
Not necessarily. Competition isn't necessarily toxic. It can be, for sure. But
yeah. But, like...
When you start, like speaking to the other person kind of condescendingly, that's when it can get toxic.
Yeah, and honestly, that's kind of a fear that I have, because the last time I went on a big hike,
yes,
it was in the middle of the day, and I don't do well in heat.
With the hot sun.
And in my head, I was just like, oh, it's still, I think it was like April, so I was like, oh, it's not gonna be that hot, it's just April. I was dead wrong, dude. It was like 95 degrees and I died.
It's been getting really hot.
Yeah, and like my competitive brain was like, you have to keep going, like you have to keep going. And then my body was like, you're heat exhausted, your electrolytes are depleting, please listen to me.
Please.
Yes. Boss, please. And then I was just like, oh my god. And then it wasn't until we got to like the last third of the hike,
Yeah.
when we were about to get to that big waterfall, but I was like, yeah, dude, like, I can't do this. And I voiced it out to her, too. I was like, I'm so tired. Like, I don't know what, like, I'm doing. And I was carrying a big-ass backpack, and I was carrying both our water bottles.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I was fine with it, because, I mean, like, when I do go on hikes, it's like, I basically do the same thing. Except, I do mine in the morning, where, like, I get majority of my steps in before this, like, while the sun is coming up,
right.
and not when it's beating down on me.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, though, because, like, she likes the heat, and no. I just cannot function in the heat. Like, it was so hot that I damn near started crying.
So, yeah, I could see why you'd want to be more alone if it's, like, your alone time walk or hike.
Yeah, and, like, that was around the time when I was just, like, I got competitive because I know she runs, and she's training for a marathon. And I was like, I have to beat her. Like, in my head, I was like, I have to beat her. But I was like, but I can't.
I could see now why you like doing the whole powerlifting stuff too now, because
yeah,
I feel like that's another competitive thing. Like, oh, because there's a number to it, you know? It's like, oh, I did 165 or whatever. You know?
Yeah. Thank you for psychoanalyzing me. But yes,
Psych major.
That is why I do it. And back when I used to, also one of the reasons why I like started going to the gym by myself, because back when I started going to the, like, when I very first started going to the gym and I started getting into powerlifting, I was super competitive, and there was no way I could compete with like the guy that I was like going to the gym with.
Yeah.
And then I started going with my brother, and he was even way, like, he was way stronger than I was, and like
sure.
I obviously would try to like get there, and like in the process, like I would end up hurting I would get injuries. And that would hinder me, and then I would get really frustrated, and then, like, I wouldn't let myself completely heal, and I would be back at the gym again. And, obviously, all the wrong moves. I was young. I was dumb.
Yeah.
And, like, now that I've started to realize that, like, I really am super competitive, I just have to calm the fuck down.
While I'm less competitive, I feel like you and I share the same trait of like trying to push our boundaries.
Yeah.
Because that's what it sounds like. If you've been making those mistakes, I mean, making mistakes is kind of like, it goes hand in hand with testing your boundaries.
Right.
And really, it's important to test your boundaries so you know where they are, right?
Right.
So it's good to make those mistakes when you're younger, like you said, and it's good now that you can look back and be like, all right, that was way too much, or
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, if like. Honestly, if I had, like, 19, 20, 21-year-old Mary Belle's mentality when I went on that hike, I probably would have passed out from eating caution because my pride would not have let me quit.
This will not go down today.
Yeah. This is not how my story ends. It'll be in an ambulance. I don't know. Any other things that make you happy? Drumming?
Yeah. Playing music, going on hikes or walks is nice, even though I don't do it often.
Right.
The whole
you don't have to do it
longboarding thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, talking things out, even if it's whether it's a debate or if it's just like small talk. Just practicing being able to speak out loud with people is.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing for me.
Right.
Like, I'm the type that enjoys playing devil's advocate, and
yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah.
You do that with me a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's fun.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets annoying, but it actually opens my mind up a little bit more.
That's good to know. See, that's where like testing the boundaries too is like, I want to make sure I'm not too annoying.
Right. No, but honestly, like, I feel like I need to start voicing that out when it does. Because I'm also at fault, too, because sometimes, like, you see me shut down, and you see me get frustrated, and you're really good at picking up on that, which is really good, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yay!
But as someone, even, let's say you're someone I don't know, and you were doing that to me, you just see me get mad when you're doing it in good fun and lightheartedness.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't see it as that. I just see it as, like, some dude just trying to, like, pick my brain and annoy the crap out of me. When in reality, that's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, I mean, obviously with you, that's never the case.
Yes.
But, like, if it was a stranger,
Thankfully.
and then, like, huh?
Thankfully.
Yeah. And,
But if
like,
it's a stranger.
but if it was a stranger who doesn't know me and, like, does not pick up on my social cues, then it could get really bad. And, like, me knowing how I used to have a temper and, like,
Yeah.
how easily it is to actually push my buttons sometimes, that could get very dangerous for me. I could get in a pickle really fast.
I know that the whole devil's advocate mentality can lead to kind of speaking like holier than thou, or like like kind of condescending, or like I know more than you, so like why aren't you going on my argument?
Right.
But I know I could work on that, so that's part of the fun, I guess.
Yeah, the holier than thou.
Yeah, see, it's something that irks me because I see it in myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if I see someone else being holier than thou, and it's, like, really egregious, that really pisses me off.
Right.
Because I know that I can get there very easily. Because it's one of... You know, in those personality tests sometimes we take, that there's one question where it's, like, agree or disagree. I think I am better than most people. When I first started taking those tests...
Did you say agree?
I would say disagree. I don't feel like I'm better than most people. But that's just because I think that's like what we're programmed to like answer. Like without thinking, I just answered disagree. But after getting to know myself more and like just swallowing bitter pills about like observing myself,
right?
Like I have to put agree because like I don't like saying it, but I definitely do see myself as better than other people.
You know, I interpreted the question in a completely different way. Because I remember just agreeing. Like, full-heartedly agreeing that, yeah, I am better than most people.
But how did you interpret it then?
I interpreted it as, I have a family that I can come home to. I have a home.
Oh, I have a better situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I have a home. Like, I have a car. I have my means of transportation. Like...
I have it better than most people.
Yeah,
I would agree with that,
I have it better than most people.
Yeah.
And also, in a sense that, like, I feel like going back to, like, the whole phone situation thing, how everyone's just glued to their phones, like, I feel like, in a sense, not to be, like, condescending or anything like that.
Go ahead.
But the way I also kind of see it is that, like, I'm not always glued to my phone.
Yeah.
And I know what I have to do to make myself happy again. When, like, if or when I do go back to that depressive state or, like, toxicity. That, like, I can pull myself out of that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that.
So you're aware that you have more self-control than other people sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm also very aware of the fact that I'm very grateful for the people in my life.
That's good.
And, like, in the overall scheme of things, I am better than most people. Like,
As in
that sense. Like, or, like, I have it better than most people.
You have more control?
Yeah. And, like, I know my limits, and I know my do's and don'ts.
Okay, so you're, in a sense, like, you know that you're more mature than a lot of people. Or at least, like, people our age, probably.
Yeah.
Is that what you say?
Well...
Because you're also an eldest of, like, 4 siblings, so...
Yeah.
Like, you kind of have to be competent that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how would you say... Okay, so to use, like, video game terms...
Okay.
As, like, your base stats, or, like...
My base stats?
Yeah, as in, like, just without even putting maturity in there, just how you see yourself, like, on a hierarchy. How would you answer that? Like, would you agree that you see yourself above people or better than people, or would you disagree?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I've been interpreting that question differently.
But it's
yeah. Say that question again?
So, imagine on a hierarchy.
Right.
Would you say that you are above people that you walk around? Or
that I'm with?
Like in your day-to-day life, like say at work or with your family.
Right.
Like, do you see yourself as above them on a hierarchy scale? Or like equal or like less than?
I think everyone in my life is fairly equal to me. Mm-mm. But also I gravitate towards the people that are very self-aware.
Sure, because they have more control.
Yeah.
Right.
But if I was around high schoolers, then I would definitely think I was better than them.
Well, that's different though, because we're still going on the whole maturity thing.
Right. Oh, gotcha.
But to stay away from that, more on just like hierarchy, like
Where would I put myself
Let's
in
say
that pyramid?
let's say we're in a war right now.
Okay.
We're in a foxhole.
Okay.
Would you be the kind of person to be like, all right, guys, follow my lead, because I know what to do, or would it be like, I'm gonna look out for who's gonna stand up and then follow that person, you know?
I'm definitely all right, guys. Follow my lead.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because like, I think that has everything to do with the fact that I am an older sibling.
Right. So, okay, to kind of get to the heart of that question then, when you say you're the type of person that would want to be a leader or like the person that people follow,
Right.
is that because you feel like you've earned that spot or because you were given the birthright?
I was given the birthright. But
Because you're an older
yeah, because I'm an older sibling. But if you put me at a work environment,
Yes.
I would be that person to be like, all right, guys, follow my lead.
Yes.
Because I earned that.
Mm-mm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, in a work environment. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, I'm pretty sure you felt that same way too.
We're pretty similar then, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you bust your butt at your job, and
Yeah.
you've been really successful. So like, obviously, you get that feeling that like people looked up to you because they thought you were the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, your lead wasn't
Would come to
competent.
me.
Yeah, your lead would go to you,
Yeah.
and everyone else thought you were the lead, and everyone thought that you were gonna get the lead position.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know what it's like to like you know what it's like to bust your ass and like actually make it to the top. So it wasn't your birthright. You busted your ass.
Well, here's the difference though. Like, you say that, but then like when I'm looking inward,
Right.
I think it's more of like, I feel like I'm better than people, not because I earned it, but because like
You worked for it?
no, like I don't feel like I have that instinct because I work towards it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in situations, let's say, in some jobs, yeah, I did kind of earn it, but
Right.
I think part of it is the people around me at the time were the type of people that didn't have much ambition. I think that's what it is, though. Maybe it's because I have a bit more ambition than the people around me at work.
Right.
That I felt like it's not something I earned. It's just something that I was just born with this ambition to like be the guy.
What do you mean by you were born by with this ambition?
I just remember feeling like people around me at work didn't have any ambition.
Right.
So it was like easy pickings.
Oh, like they didn't have the motivation to move up.
Right.
So, oh, gotcha.
Or like there wasn't much competition in that sense. So just from that, it's like, it's not that I earned something, it's that I'm just the best candidate. That's what it was like. That's more close to what I felt like. I just feel like I'm the better candidate for leadership.
Right.
On default level.
Oh, gotcha.
But I'll agree though, when there's someone that shows that they have more guts and they have more of what it takes to be the leader, I'm not so petty that I'll be like, I should be it. I'll play second wolf, like
Right.
I'll be like, all right, that guy's a lead, but I'm still above these guys,
Yeah.
Like I still play that.
Yeah.
Which is, it sounds petty and sounds kind of...
just know. It just sounds like you know your place.
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good way to point it out.
Yeah, like you know that there's a time and a place to do that.
That is important though, like knowing your place. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think some people are hesitant to like rank themselves on a hierarchy scale.
That's definitely it.
Whereas like I'm more like, I want to know where I am, so that I can know if I have to go up, or I want to know where my boundaries are.
Right, but also goes back to knowing. Like, it just goes to the self-aware. That was the word.
Yeah.
Like that you're self-aware and you know your do's and don'ts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So that makes me happy though. If I can be in a place where I am seen as the lead,
right,
and people are coming to me, like people are depending on me, and I know I can handle whatever responsibility that they expect me to handle.
Right.
That makes me really happy.
You like being useful?
So like working in that that warehouse in Fremont.
Right.
Before I worked there, let's say X, Y, and Z tasks that had to get done every day
right,
would be done by a bunch of different people. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I kind of like worked myself in there, and like made like I made my presence known in that team. I started taking care of X, Y, and Z tasks, and then people would come to me whenever they needed something related to those tasks.
Right.
And that made me feel like I was useful. That made me feel like I was, like I'm a cog in a machine, but I'm a cog that's like well oiled and well like constructed.
Right. That you're continuously sharpening your tools.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That made you happy?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Because, I mean, when you have people that are older than you coming to you for stuff that other people older than you couldn't do or like didn't want to do,
right?
It's like, I guess it's more of like I have a place to belong to. Like, oh, I have a team that I belong to.
This is my machine.
Yes, that's like this is the orchestra, and I'm like the tuba guy. Like I'm a good ass tuba.
That's a great way to put it, actually. I love how you say you weren't the conductor.
Speaking of things that make me happy,
what's up?
Hot pot, son.
Oh, dude, I miss hot pot. That was like, I mean, obviously visiting you was like the highlight of it.
Yeah.
But let's face it, dude.
Yeah.
Like the hot pot and the Wingstop we would always get was kind of like the business every time I went to visit.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I knew the drive up there would be worth it because I was gonna see you and I was gonna get hot pot.
So it brought you happiness too,
yeah,
right?
Dude. Hot pot brings me so much happiness and it literally just warms me so much. Especially like after that long drive and just want to sit down, listen to like My Heart Will Go On the piano. Just
oh my god. Oh, or other things that make you happy, like having that super welcoming waitress.
Right. She was so nice.
Like just good customer service, like that make you feel like you're part of the family, you know?
Yeah, of course. Like I love that. I don't care. Like the food can be shit. But if like the service is there, I will walk out of a restaurant very satisfied. Yeah,
I mean food is like such a, what do you call this? It's like an intimate thing, you know? It's something that you're putting in your body. You're incorporating it in you. So whenever someone gives you good service at a food place, it's like you know you're in good hands, you know?
Right. Like it makes me just lie to myself and just like, dude, the food's really good. And then
you just justify it.
Yeah, like
the waitress is being nice.
Yeah, the waitress is being nice, so therefore the food is good. Like I don't know. Like what other foods make you happy though? Is there a certain food that you tie in with happiness, whether it be a healthy or unhealthy thing?
Top level?
Yeah.
Like as happy as I've ever been.
Right.
Was chirashi, which is just like sushi, or it's sushi. It's a bowl of sushi rice, and then like sashimi cuts of different fish.
Right.
And like there was one Japanese restaurant in Mall of Asia in the Philippines. It's not there anymore, but it's called Tanabe. And as far as like high quality fish goes, it's up there as like the most delicious sushi meals I've had there.
Nice.
And whenever I did something good in school or like any kind of like birthday thing, my parents would bring me there. Sometimes I'd bring like a few close friends of mine to go over there. Because like, you know that when I was living in the Philippines, my family is pretty well off, so we can afford to go to the really nice places.
Right.
And bringing some of my friends who couldn't do that over to get some like quality sushi.
Right.
And like sharing that like that just high quality meal with them.
Right.
I mean, you could say the happiness is coming from being with the friends.
Right.
But like it goes hand in hand. Like good friends, good company with good food, good drinks.
Right.
It's like as a Filipino, there's nothing to top that. Like, good food, good company. That's pretty much the peak happiness you can get.
Right. Honestly, that's how I feel about Korean barbecue.
Right. Yeah. Same.
Like,
exactly.
Just that atmosphere of just like being able to cook your own food and actually like have the face-to-face conversation with like you and your friends or even like your family, and just like the whole conversational aspect of it, And like,
so she add a little soju or beer or something, and it's like, oh man, this is the best.
Just like the wholesomeness of just being in a community or like being in a family or just indulging in each other's company. And honestly, even on the bad days, Korean barbecue still hits the spot because it's like the company may not be there, but the food is still definitely there. And well, actually, not even the company.
It's always good. Man.
Yeah, dude. Even if like the service is crappy, like it's there. Like just that atmosphere of just being able to cook your own food and, like you said, indulge.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
very indulgent. Yeah,
it's very indulgent, especially if it's all you can eat. Yeah.
There's no point in going anywhere that's not all you can eat, bro.
Yeah.
Happiest I've been ever in a meal though was back when I was going to visit my sister over in the East Bay.
Right.
She had told me that she had been taking these chocolate edibles to help her sleep because she's not really much of a stoner. She's very much just like, I just need to go to bed because she kind of has some like anxiety issues, or at least she did at the time. And she offered me she offered me to try one of her bars.
Right.
And I was excited because like I hadn't done edibles yet. I'd only been smoking. So I had brought a pipe with me just in case.
Right.
But
in case you needed to smoke out of a chocolate bar.
No. Unless I put like chocolate pieces in the bowl.
Yeah. And then just smoke it that way. Just melt the chocolate like a crackhead.
Oh, actually, what might actually work scientifically is like if you just rub it around the mouthpiece. So you like consume a little bit. Anyway.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest smiles I've ever had eating, right?
Right.
Eating was I took like I don't know how many milligrams, but I ate one of her bars.
Right.
And on the way to the restaurant, I was just like, man, I don't feel anything. Like maybe it was a dud, or whatever.
Oh God.
And then my sister was being nice, She's like, oh, do you want to like open the window? No, do you want to open the window and like smoke your bowl real quick? And I was like, no, it's fine. I had already been kind of defeated, so I was like, it's fine. I'll just get some beer or whatever, and it'll whatever happens, it's fine. We're just here to. I'm here for company, anyways. I'm not here to get high. Yeah. It's just a bonus I get to get high,
Right.
But we went to the restaurant. It was all you can eat hot pot, and I just got a full plate of just lamb and all the vegetables I want, mushrooms and whatnot.
Right.
And I remember like cooking the raw meat in the hot pot, bringing a cooked piece, like getting the dipping sauce and everything, having it up to my bowl and just like taking that first bite. And then like once my taste buds
got activated
by the taste of the meat, I just felt like the most meaty flavor ever was just like this flavor in general was just like blowing my mind, and I was like, ooh, this kicking in now.
Oh my God. I'm surprised that you weren't feeling it on the car ride.
Yeah, because I was ready to be like, I guess it's not working. No, I guess my tolerance is too high or something.
Yeah, and plus it's always, I feel like even with edibles, it's still a hit or miss.
Yeah, it's not as reliable as straight up dabs or something.
Yeah, or like a joint where you can actually gauge how much you're taking. Yeah.
So I just remember like taking that first bite and having this big shit eating grin.
Oh my God, yeah.
And just being like, Ate, this is so good.
She probably looked at you and was like, this fucking pothead.
Yeah, and we were in like a long table, right? It's not sectioned off. It's just like a long, because it's like a hole in the wall Chinese place.
Right.
So this dude next to my sister is just looking at me like, why is this, like, what's up with this guy? Like I just this biggest, just goofy ass smile.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's gonna be a good night. And that whole night was just, I mean, you've been there, man. Just ultimate pigging out with your family.
Right.
Having a beer here and there.
Yeah.
And like this is my first time doing an edible, and like it's hard to top that moment because it's the first time it's probably one of the first times I had hot pot, like as an adult.
You know what my favorite moments are of eating? It was my mom's birthday, and we spent a week up in Canada, and we were on our way to see Niagara Falls. and we stopped by this like this mall, and we kind of went shopping.
Yeah.
And we ended up at the food court, and I just remember my Papa Irvin and my Mama Roxanne.
Are they grandparents?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my dad and my uncle, and they just walked. Or like they were walking towards us, and like they hand us like this little brown like container. And then
Go ahead.
Dude, it was poutine.
Poutine?
Yeah.
Yo.
And like I just remember just like, cuz my brother and my sister were we were in this round table.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is the best thing I have ever eaten.
So what's in poutine? Is it mainly
It's
cheese curd, right?
Yeah, it's cheese curd, French fries, and gravy.
Gravy?
Gravy.
Yo, I didn't know it was gravy.
Yeah, well, at least the one in mine was.
Yeah, that sounds hella good.
Yeah, and like.
That sounds hella. Actually, you know what? In Canada, when it's hella cold, I could see that being like the go-to.
Yeah, dude, and it was freaking cold up there, and I was like, I had like damn near like 4 or 5 layers on, and I had a scarf, and I had a beanie, and this was when my hair was still long.
I'm just an island girl.
Yeah, dude, I was so cold. Like, the entire time, I was just like, I can't do this.
Yep,
It's so cold.
Yep.
And like, I remember afterwards, like we went out to this restaurant, and like it was like our 3rd time celebrating my mom's birthday that week, and like we just straight up had ice cream.
Ganun talaga, birthday week ka.
Yeah. Like we just had ice cream, and I just remember being so content and being so happy, and I was just like, bro, knock on wood, if the plane crashes tomorrow,
totally
I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally cool.
Yeah. I was like, this is the best ice cream. This is the best waffle cone I've had in like such a long time.
I feel like those are moments that depressed people or people who suffer with anxiety a lot, like they don't get to cherish they can take a moment and be like, you know what? I'm having such a great time right now. God forbid if I die in the next 20 minutes, you know, it could be way worse.
Yeah, dude. Like, honestly, I feel like a lot of the good memories that I have, or like the happy ones, revolve around ice cream. Like, when I was younger and we were still in the Philippines, I went to a private Catholic school.
Yeah.
And like grades were kind of super important.
Yep.
And to encourage my grades to be kept up, my mom always told me that for every time I get 100%, I'd get ice cream.
Yep.
And like, oh, dude.
So it's part of that like parents' acceptance too, is like the ice cream thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like, also
and you earned it.
Yeah, and I earned it. And like, it kind of just trickled into like my adulthood, like my adult life, and like my late teens and my early 20s.
Yeah. When
like, whenever I was happy, I would just go get ice cream. Or like, just cause I would just go get ice cream. And and like, it just turned into like this little thing that like, I would always like, if I had a really good day, like I wouldn't eat ice cream. Yeah. But like, if I wanted to like have like a slightly better day than I was having, then I would just be like, you know what, a little green tea ice cream on a waffle cone sounds like it would hit the spot.
Green tea ice cream.
Yeah, dude. Man. And like when I was going through the EMT program, that's what it was. It was ice cream, beer, and Dutch Bros.
Oh my god.
My 3 saving graces.
Dude, I remember, now that I think about it, so to kind of get this off my chest,
right?
I haven't always been super close with my mom, right? Like definitely during high school and stuff, I just kind of saw her as like an authority figure,
right? I think everyone saw their parents as that at one point,
right? But like now she and I are super close.
Yeah.
But back then it wasn't always that way. I remember like kind of always being like, as a teenage boy, it's like there's nothing clicking,
right?
But one thing that like definitely kind of made me kind of like see her in a better light. As an adult, I must have been like 20 or 21, I forget, but I'd gotten this really bad splinter, and I just ignored it because I was like, it's a splinter, who cares,
right?
And over a couple of days, it started like really getting like, what do you call it? Mamaga? What's English of maga?
Infected.
So yeah, infected, but also it's oh my god, swollen.
Swollen. Oh, okay.
So
God.
so it was like really swollen, like almost twice the size.
Right.
And you could start seeing like discoloration.
Jesus.
On my finger. So
what kind of splinter are you getting out here? God.
It must have been a really bad one, and also the fact that I didn't treat it at all. I waited. But anyways, it was like...
You didn't wash your hands, anything afterwards?
I washed my hands. I just didn't, like, pluck it out or anything.
Oh, my God.
But,
okay.
So, my mom was like, oh, when she saw it, she's like, oh, we gotta, like, actually get that taken out. I was like,
yeah.
So what? What do we do? ER or something? She's like, yeah, if they're not busy, they'll just have them just pop in real quick and be like, can you take this out?
Right.
And luckily there was no one there when we got there, so...
Right.
I was able to easily get in. The doctor's like, all right, what's wrong? And I'm like, I'm going to boo-boo.
I got a splinter 2 days ago, and I just ignored it.
So I was like, yeah, this is really swollen right now, so I don't trust myself to take care of this. So
right.
It's like, oh yeah, we got you, no worries. We're just gonna like make an incision and then take it out. I was like, ooh, okay, it's a little bit more than I thought it would be. But I'm making this story super long for no reason. But
no, keep going. I like the details.
So
as an EMT, I'm enjoying the details.
Right. So I'm just sitting there with my mom, and at this point we're pretty cool, and I just remember thinking to myself like, this is so dumb, like I'm in the ER for a stupid splinter or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the guy comes in, he sanitizes the finger, he makes the incision, and I remember like I was making jokes about it to the doctor, like, oh, could you give me like some popsicle sticks so I could put it in my mouth? And
right.
Just because like I remember seeing a Mission Impossible movie where he does that, where he has to electrocute himself. So he puts like a bunch of popsicle sticks in his mouth because it's gonna be crazy like amounts of pain.
Yeah, and like so you don't bite on your tongue.
Exactly.
You don't bite down your tongue.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like making jokes about that, and then like it just started really hurting bad, and I was like, ooh, like I wasn't prepared. It was more so that I wasn't prepared why it hurt so much.
Yeah. And
I just regressed back to like that little boy in a doctor's room, just like, ooh, it hurts, mommy, you know, like
right.
And so he takes it out, everything's fine, and get cleaned up. It's the swelling goes down, so there's no like real issue.
Right.
But my mom just asks me like, all right, so is there anything you want to do now? I'm like,
I want to go get McDonald's.
I take a long pause. I'm just like, yeah, can we get some ice cream?
Oh my god, that's the cutest, most wholesome thing I've heard.
Just little boy mode, just like, mommy, I want strawberry.
Yeah.
And then I think like after that, it was just like, yeah. My mom's pretty cool. Yeah. Right. I just imagine myself as what do you call it? As SpongeBob in that episode where he goes to his grandma's house.
Yeah, and she picks Patrick.
I want kissy on my boo boo. Yeah. But yeah, that's I mean, can't really beat that. You know, food, family,
you
music.
Really can't. Yeah.
Just spending alone time is big. I feel like I should probably make more decisions in my life to let myself have more me time and like to decompress and let myself not think, you know.
You know what I've been doing that helps? I started doing this mantra where I tell myself where my attention goes, my energy flows.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And after that, it's just so much easier. Like, and then at the end of the week, you reevaluate the people that you saw, and then you ask yourself, and it's also a form of meditation too.
Right.
You ask yourself.
Yeah, it's a mantra.
Yeah. Was it positive? Was it negative? Was it both? Or was it neither? Mm-hmm. And then from there, you can kind of just let your brain wander.
Yeah.
And I think that is a great segue to thank our listeners.
Yeah. I mean, Where energy flows. What is it?
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Where attention goes, energy flows.
Right.
And I feel like we've been putting a lot of attention into this first episode of the podcast.
Definitely.
So I feel some good positive vibes. Hopefully we help out some people out there, you know?
Spread the spore of happiness and positivity, guys.
Spread the spore. So thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you.
Pick this up again next week.